Welcome to the Wine Stand. I'm your host, Dave Cerfozo, and welcome to episode 2 of what I hope will be a long-running show. Tonight what we're going to do is try a couple of wines from the Salisbury Vineyards up in San Luis Obispo in the Edna Valley area. They are producers of some really nice wines. The two that we have here tonight, one is Pinot Natural, which is obviously it's Pinot Noir, but it's prepared a little bit differently than you usually would prepare one, obviously, as you can tell by the color here, and we'll talk about that in a moment. The other one is Devil Dog. It is a red blend and a pretty powerful wine, and one that both of these I've tried before and I've enjoyed them, so I wanted to share them with you guys tonight. The Pinot Natural, as you can see, is not a red wine at all. It comes from a red grape. But one of the things you'll notice right away is that even as they've prepared this wine, much like they would prepare a rosé, there's no pink here. They're very light pink. It's more of an orange, actually, that has been produced with this wine. It's actually a very attractive wine. One of these, the shade I've noticed before in Pinot Grigios, not quite to this extent, but it's more of an orange than the gold or yellow that you'll get from a Chardonnay. Very nice aroma, much like the color of the wine. The aroma, orange blossoms, honeysuckle, lots of orange things, and but very subtle, a little florally, but very nice aroma. So let's give it a taste and see what we've got. A very nice wine. Slight sweetness, but not overboard. It's not going to scare you folks who are afraid of sweet wines. I'm in your club, by the way. There's much more fruit on the palate when you taste it. Not fruit as in real jammy and overly fruity tasting. Various types of fruits, very similar to those cups, the fruit cups that we had as kids, and. But nice. It's a very nice wine. It's not heavily alcoholed, probably in the 13, well, I don't know, let's look, 13.4% alcohol. So not overly heavy in that area. It's a very nice wine with a very unique aroma and a unique taste. It's one that I would recommend you have around the house for a party when you've got guests coming over who you want to let them try something different. They're used to Merlots and Cabs and Chardonnays and the ones they always see. This is a unique kind of wine, one I think that will get them guessing. Speaking of getting them guessing, you can bring some of this along as well for the folks who like their reds strong. I looked on this bottle. The alcohol content is 15.1, which means it packs quite a punch. It's a Cabernet Merlot blend, and it's a big wine. There's I had aromas of plum, some cherry, and the darker of the berries, boysenberry perhaps. Little spice, but something that's a little more sweet, maybe cinnamon in there. And something that you usually don't associate with wine, and red wine, or any wine for that matter, wicker. I had a vision that I just walked into a Pier 1 for a moment there, but it's not a bad thing. It was very subtle and not terribly overpowering, but it was interesting, and I like wines that have something interesting with them. I had a Merlot a while back that one of the characteristics I found with it was burnt barbecue, which doesn't necessarily evoke, I've got to go buy a lot of that, but it was unique and different, and it was in with everything else. And these wines from Salisbury, this one was at $24 and this one is $18. I would put in what I refer to as the two-dimensional areas. Wines that have a little bit extra going on, whereas the one-dimensional ones, last week I talked about the Smoking Loon wines. they're good wines for the price. They're much less expensive than some of the others. And if you like them and you like what they have to offer, they're a good wine. But they're not real complex. They're not going to have you thinking, what is that? It's just, this is a good wine and you'll like it. So these wines here have a little bit more going on, but you're paying a little bit more for them. And that's usually the way it works. When we get to what I call the third dimension, or the three-dimensional wines, those are very complex wines. They're routinely, in the $50 and up range. So one of the things I want to do is introduce lower price wines to you folks so that you can get out and get in and start enjoying wines. So you won't see a lot of the three-dimensional wines on here, probably the one and two-dimensional for the most part. So let's give this a try, shall we? Now that's a wine. That is it's a very strong, but a very, as my father would say, smooth wine. It's very good. Tannins are minimal, if existent at all. So it's one of those types of wines that I think most people would like. Based on the fact that there's not a lot of tannins, it's a fairly smooth tasting wine. I'm guessing that the Merlot has a bigger hand in the percentage on this wine, maybe a 60-40. But it's a very good wine, very enjoyable. I would invite you to try this once again for a party, have folks over and have them try to figure out what type of wine it is. Although it isn't leaning towards a Syrah, I'm wondering if people would think that was it, just due to the fact that there's so much fruit and it's so jammy, and really just it's a big wine. But I really enjoy this wine, and as I said, this is $18 at the winery. So there's two of the wines from Salisbury. I recommend all of their wines. Actually, are very good. And they all bring something different to the table. These two are some of the most unique ones they have. I don't believe their wines are available in stores. I haven't seen them available in stores. You can go to their wine website, Salisbury Vineyards, .com, and order their wines, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to send them out to you. Next week, we're going to try three Cabernet Sauvignon from Chateau Saint Jean. There's a lot of French words there. I got trouble with that kind of stuff. But three of the Cabernets, the three from Chateau Saint Jean next week. We hope you enjoy this show. We hope you join us next week, and we'll see you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.